Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of the MCR. Mac and me. My name's TJ. Two gentlemen from the southeastern corner of Michigan. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're viewing us on Rumble, thank you very much. On to the topic. I will confess my thoughts are scattered all over the place because this Minnesota situation, it can go off in so many different directions. My head's almost spinning in it all. I'm infuriated with the Democrats' response. I'm infuriated with the left's response. I'm infuriated with the media's response, the apologies, the excuses, and I use those words if not out and out endorsement. You know, Mac?
Well, they clearly wanted this to happen. It's she was sacrificed on the altar of communism.
I just uh they want to make her out with the woman didn't deserve to get killed. She was stalking the ICE agents. She was creating a barricade uh, with the ICE agents. She didn't comply with the ICE agents when they confronted her because since she's going to obstruct their activity, they got tired of it and approached her vehicle, told her to get out of the vehicle. Her wife tells her to drive, 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 only to
She helped kill her.
yeah
She might as well have pulled the trigger herself.
and what I've because I've watched like as and maybe you have too, Mac, but I've
No,
seen
I've
like
seen them.
I've seen like three or four videos from three or four different angles, slow motion, this and that. What it appears is when she put it in reverse, she turned her wheels. Well, she turned her wheels to the left, making her vehicle angle directly toward the ICE agent that shot her.
Right.
Had she just gone straight without backing up, I don't know if she would have hit the guy. I, but she turned her wheels, put it in reverse, then put it in drive, and now there's a bullet coming at her through the windshield. You know, and and honestly, I don't fault the ICE agent. What is he supposed to do? You know, and here's the thing: Democrats will say he should have let her hit him. I mean, they so badly want to say that if they haven't kind of hinted at it, you know?
Well, they, as we already know from many other topics, they couldn't care less about human life. They proved that during COVID, where our governor Gretchen Whitmer sacrificed 15,000 Michiganders on the altar of communism, and Cuomo did the same thing, and in governors in other states, they don't care about human life. They just care about their agenda, their narrative, and their never-ending thirst for power.
Well, we said back in 2016 when Trump became president in his first term how he, in so many ways, pulled back the veneer on a whole lot of stuff. And honestly, I didn't realize how accurate I'll say we were in saying that because he's pulled the extremists out of the shadows and to the point where they've kind of become the mainstream of their party now.
Not just that, he's exposed the Rand Pauls and Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, who are already kind of exposing themselves. But he's gotten them to expose themselves.
And this type of violence, well, we shouldn't. I'm shocked, but I shouldn't be because heck, you can go back to the Bernie bro that almost killed Steve Scalise.
Yeah.
So this is nothing new.
Well, it's an example of the how powerful their rhetoric is, and then you find out that she's allegedly gone to this school to teach you how to do what she did. They just forgot to mention the part where you get killed.
And they've been led to believe, oh, if you get in trouble, we'll get you out of it. Well,
Yeah,
there was no getting her out of that situation.
yeah. There's no getting out of a bullet in the forehead.
And and then you got Governor Walz threatening to activate the Minnesota National Guard to take up against federal agents.
Then do it, is
And,
what I say. Do it,
and
Tim.
do it and let the Civil War begin.
Well,
because
first off, those guys are going to stand down because they get their orders from the commander in chief, not that asshole. And any of them that want a dishonorable discharge in a court martial can have it in short order.
yeah, and you know what? And
Ruin
you
their lives
and you
for
just
this clown.
made me reflect on the six Democrat idiots saying you don't have to obey unlawful orders.
This
Yeah,
is an unlawful
you
order.
know, there you go. You want an example of an unlawful order? There it is. You
Well,
know,
they're not his personal army. I hope he knows.
well, when I was hearing about Governor Waltz and doing that now, and I'm thinking, this is where this is the type of crap that leads to the Civil War scenario. I reflected back a few months ago. I don't watch this particular podcast a lot because, honestly, I don't know if I could endorse it. But it's called the Whatever Podcast, and it's in California. The guy who moderates it, he's more libertarian than he is conservative, but you know, I guess better libertarian than liberal.
Barely.
Anyways, anyways, he's got this he's got this girl on there, and his shtick is he brings in ladies of ill repute, we'll say,
Yeah.
and basically, you know what,
Whores and sluts, in other words.
and he kind of tars and feathers them is actually what he does, but
Well, he's taken easy. I haven't watched it, but you've told me about it before. He's taking easy targets and knocking them down. A big so what in my mind.
that's kind of what he does. Anyways, I'm belaboring the point here. Got this one girl, Governor Newsom, needs to arrest President Trump, and I think his name's Brian. Brian goes, well, how's he going to do that? He'll use the She says he can use the California National Guard, and Brian says that's civil war. And then she says, well, then let it be civil war. And that I heard that a couple months ago. Now we got Governor Waltz kind of saying the same message that this dysfunctional girl did. So,
Well, he also is a skank and a whore, so
I
I'm not
mean,
surprised.
and you know, those of us on the right of logical thinking, we're trying to preserve a republic. Okay, they have no desire for our republic to exist. That they want to destroy it and replace it with a dystopian uh, uh, society of you know I always call it the Hunger Games scenario, where you
Right,
got the
right.
rock and roll cities living it up while the flyover countries living in poverty, and not that I even like those movies, but I think of that. That's kind of what you end up with is that type of society, the Hunger Games, and
Well, it's Cuba.
yeah, really. Which
I
by
have
the
an idea on that. Cuba's about to fall after, I don't know, was it 65, 70 years of communism? About the same run as the Soviet Union, by the way. It's about to collapse, and I suggest that when it does, we take all these idiots who want to live that lifestyle. They can go there
well
and never come back.
off topic because of uh, because of the Venezuelan oil situation that could facilitate and expedite Cuba's demise. You know,
And the rumors are that I saw this morning, and who knows if it's true or not. I saw it on social media, so that puts a big question mark on it. That the Ayatollah in Iran has been killed by rioters and in the military.
uh, that would be interesting because I heard he was trying to figure out how to get to Russia, so maybe they got to him before he got to Russia. You know what? I don't know. Now you got me thinking. Maybe later afterwards, I can see what's going on there. Boy, I'd sure like to see all that fall. Anyways, back to this whole Civil War thing. They're just they're just you know what they're out of the closet now. They're out of the closet.
They're not even trying to hide it.
That's my point. And reason why this I find this so disconcerting is Well, we got the elections this year. And we got to keep the House now. And if there's an upside to this insanity, maybe it'll wake up what I refer to as the political floaters. You know, they
Yeah.
people they're just in this blissful ignorance, floating around politically. They're and
Well,
every until they hit rough water.
you've
You
heard me
know,
say it probably 100 times, but I like to quote them from the movie Seven, where Morgan Freeman is the older, wise cop telling the younger cop, Brad Pitt, who thinks he's doing this great work, that he goes, people don't care. They want to watch TV, eat hamburgers, and play the lotto. And that's
well,
that's pretty much what I've come to realize as well. That most people are disengaged. They don't think it has anything to do with them.
I think all of us have at least one person in our lives that I would say qualify for the definition of political floater. I've talked to them, and their response is, "Oh well, what can I do about it? Oh
Yeah.
this, oh that," and and I guess all I can really say is do what you can to wake them up because we've got to keep the House of Representatives.
That and take note of who they are, because they will eventually become dangerous to your life.
Well, I just I'm I'm concerned about this year's elections. The only thing that gives me hope is, and I've referenced Harry Enton before, how animated he gets, and if what Harry Enton is saying, if that's accurate, we do have a chance at keeping the House, but in doing so, that in itself would be historical almost, you know.
I'm cautiously optimistic
Yes, yes,
at this
uh,
point.
but I would say the key word there is cautious. you know.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be cautious.
So I don't know. I've ranted. I've vented. I've said my piece. Uh, like I said, if you have a political floater in your life, see what you can do to, I don't know, instill some common sense into them. Maybe you know what? If you say, well, what can I do? Well, you can start there. You know, and
Well, personally, not much. I mean, you can't. You're not going to go and change any policy personally, but you can get with other people, and there's strength in numbers, and that's what makes the difference.
yeah. What do they call it? Uh, mentoring and uprating and that kind of stuff. But
Coaching them up.
coaching. So there it is. That's all I got. And any final thoughts there, Mac?
Yeah, I think we covered it.
All right. And you know what? Throw in with that a bit of preparation. Don't get caught flat-footed. So that's
Well,
it.
these people are they're not mentally well, and some of them have firearms, and they are dangerous, especially in large numbers. So be prepared.
Oh yeah. So okay, this one's a wrap. Thanks everyone for your support. We'll catch you in the next segment. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.